Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
I suck, you suck, I suck at Call of Duty.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and today I'm joined by
Marcus Hurley
and Will.
It's funny, we're all together now, we don't know what to say. We're not separated through the internet.
Yeah, I'm too used to looking at you guys through a screen. It's like there's a...
Should we all just clap to bring ourselves in sync anyway?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it might work. Been conditioned.
So, I think we were going to talk about some of the usual stuff, like Games of the Year and that, but I think Will has something prepared for us.
Yes, well, we've got a little quiz. Do we want to go straight into that then?
Can do, unless you want to chat about the weather or
Nah.
what we got for Christmas.
Right, well, so what we got, I've done a quiz in 3 parts, and the first one is a bit of a higher or lower. So I've looked at the entire generation,
Right.
since the start of PlayStation 4, because we're coming to the close on the gen. I know there's a few more games to come out. And I've looked at sales. Now, this isn't just Sony exclusives, but I've looked at total lifetime sales on PS4 for games. So if it's a cross-platform one, it's just PlayStation sales we're looking at.
Okay.
So we're gonna start, and we'll start with Rob because he's hosting us.
Hey.
And I'm going to give you a game, and you have to tell me if the next game sold more or less copies.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Well, the
okay,
previous
yeah,
one.
I can do
This is
that.
good. This is good.
If you get it right, you get a point. If you get it wrong, control goes to Marcus, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay, all right.
So we're going to start with one of the first games I saw on the PlayStation 4 generation, which was Killzone Shadowfall, a game that rapidly dropped to £9.99 in the second-hand game shops.
Yeah, it was a launch title,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Indeed. And that sold 2.1 million copies, which is respectable.
Yeah.
But did it sell more copies or less copies than Nier Automata, which came out in 2017? What do you reckon, Rob?
I know that Nier Automata was very critically regarded, but Shadowfall being a launch title, I reckon that sold more than that.
Correct. Nier Automata sold 1.6 million copies.
That's a lot more than I thought, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's still a relatively obscure game.
A lot of people I know have played it, but I have a circle of obscure friends. So I
Yeah,
guess-
I'm very much keeping an eye on it at the right time. I'm ready for it
Yeah, that's definitely like
at the right price.
a backlog filler, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one I think we've actually all played, so a rare creature. And I don't think you're going to struggle too much with this one, Rob. Marvel's Spider-Man. Did it sell more or less copies than Nier Automata?
So I keep going, do
Yeah.
I?
Yep,
Until I get it wrong and then Marcus takes over.
correct.
Cool.
We're not going to worry about the end scores on this. This is not the point here.
Okay, so it's like winner stays in, right?
Yeah.
So this was Marvel.
Spider-Man.
Spoot-
I don't know, you heard of it?
Oh,
Your
Spider-Man.
game of the year last year, I think.
Just because you led with Marvel, I started thinking through all like the Ultimate Alliance stuff. But Spider-Man. I think that probably kicked that into the dust, didn't it?
Yeah.
Correct, yes. By quite a few. Selling 13.2 million copies.
13.2.
Now, what I don't know is if that's retail plus online. This is just, so the numbers, we're not going to argue them because this is basically, it's the number that the Wikipedia article tells us is the right number, is the right number for the purpose of the quiz.
Okay, Wikipedia is the law.
Now, did Marvel's Spider-Man sell more or less than the exceptionally critically acclaimed and multi-BAFTA winning God of War?
Ooh.
I think yes, it did.
Correct. And I'm now thinking maybe I should have just done swap turns.
No, I'm good. I'm drinking beer and listening to some interesting facts.
Well,
I'm not gonna
maybe.
remember.
How many have I got right now? Is that
Well,
three?
you've had 3,
All
so
of
I'm
them.
going to give Marcus 3.
Yeah. Okay.
I
let's
think
do it
that's
like that.
fair. Right.
Am
So
I allowed
Mark-
to intercept if he takes too long?
If I take too long.
No.
It's a binary choice here. This, and also, we're not recording with Ash.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, well, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
so next on the list is Bloodborne. Did that sell more or less than God of War?
I want to say... Oh, that was a launch title. Fuck. First swear, sorry.
First of many.
I think more.
Bloodborne sold a mere 2 million.
Yeah,
very much so.
Because it's a launch console, a lot of people might have just had it bundled.
Okay, so that was 2 million. It wasn't. I don't think it was launch actually. Well,
No,
I think it was a
actually,
couple of years,
that's a good point, yeah.
into the gen.
I just realised my gaff.
Yeah, so that was 2015, whereas Shadowfall was in 2013. So next on the list, Horizon Zero Dawn, more or less than Bloodborne.
That's more.
Way more. 10 million. Did very, very well.
Ding.
A game I've still yet to play. And you can edit in a bitch slap sound there. Just like,
To be honest, it's well worth it. You
amazing.
can pick it up for peanuts, the complete copy, and it's such a delight. So the next one, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, on PlayStation only. Did it sell more or less copies than Horizon Zero Dawn?
I want to say less.
Correct. A lot less, at 1.1 million.
I would have gone more.
Surprisingly
I'd
low.
just say for the record that I would have gone more because of the brand.
Yeah, but the brand's tired. That's the difference.
Yeah, maybe so.
It's interesting. As gamers, you're interested in one way, but you forget that a lot of people that just buy the games do it for different reasons.
Yeah.
And I think things like Metal Gear Solid 5 is quite specialist in its gameplay mechanics and techniques.
Definitely.
Just like Bloodborne.
I'm still staggered by Spider-Man. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Cities have smaller populations than that figure, don't they?
This is very true. Okay, next on the list, and we're going back to Rob on this one. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
Yeah.
Now, did that sell more or less than Metal Gear Solid 5 on the PlayStation?
Less.
I would have got more.
Okay. Only 15 times more.
Oh, really?
So 16 million units as opposed to 1.1.
I didn't realise that brand was so massive. I suppose that's... Yeah.
Uncharted, because you think when Tomb Raider dropped off, Uncharted took over.
They're player-friendly
So,
story
yeah.
games.
It's a default adventure game kind of thing. So
The numbers here I'm reading as this is why Sony have doubled down on exclusives.
yes,
Exclusive
because
single-player
you can even
stuff.
send your nan out to get you an Uncharted game and go, oh, everyone's talking about Uncharted.
Yeah, and why they're still trying to make a film of it,
Yes.
even though now Mark Wahlberg has been offered both roles. It's taken them so long.
So, back to a launch title. A single-player launch title. Designed by genius architect Mark Cerny. Marky C. Knack. Did that sell more or less than Uncharted 4, bearing in mind how long it's been out?
Is it me still?
No, sorry, I'm looking at you, as the listeners can tell, but it's Marcus.
Okay.
Oh, give me the awkward one. Knack. I've never heard of it.
Knack? You haven't heard of Knack? That's okay.
think so, no.
It's a kind of a platformer where you hit things and they turn into bolts and you absorb the bolts and get bigger.
I don't think that it's beat Uncharted.
It distinctly didn't.
Yeah.
It sold more than Metal Gear Solid, with 2 million units, which is still fairly respectable. So, from Knack on to a franchise that I know Rob is a huge fan of. Final Fantasy 15. More or less than Knack.
More. Easily more.
Not that easily. Interesting. 2.5 million as opposed to 2 million.
That's a lot lower than I expected.
Yeah, it's surprising actually to me.
Yeah.
But again, I suppose the Final Fantasy games are still seen as a bit specialist, a bit Japanese, a bit niche.
Yeah. And also, is it the bench game or is it all of the versions that they brought out? I don't know if it takes into those accounts.
I haven't the
Because
foggiest.
that's the problem. When
It's
you
the
start
number on Wikipedia.
Yeah, exactly.
Still.
But
Tinkering with your games.
I think it was the only there were sort of mobile versions and spin-offs and
Yeah,
things, but
there's,
this will be the PlayStation.
There's like a
Final
defined
Fantasy
version
15.
of it. I think it's like King's something or other, in which the combat's been redone and everything. The game's been like redone a bit from the ground.
Sorry to be cynical, but
Anyway.
is the reason they keep re-releasing these games to get around figures like that?
Or maybe just to sell more.
No, I think they just get rushed, to be honest. There's something they get left out and then
The
studio
director's
cracks
cut.
the whip.
So it's like
And
early
it's like-
access
yeah.
sort of thing.
But arguably, that stuff should be sold as free DLC,
Yeah,
pushed as
well,
free DLC.
a lot of it
and-
was. There was a couple of stories that were. Anyway, moving on.
So the final one. So Final Fantasy 15 sold 2.5 million. Now, did Detroit become human, so more or less units than that?
I'd say less.
Less, and you would be wrong.
Right.
What?
Wow.
So that sold 3.2 million. It's surprising
David
numbers,
Cargate
isn't it?
strikes again.
See, I was factoring in the fact that all of those David Cage games are coming out on PC very soon, and I thought that was probably to maybe recoup a bit of what they'd lost. But wow, they're really clever, aren't they, Sony? Even these games that kind of like come and go, they still have an audience.
It's mad, isn't it?
Okay, so at the end of round 1, Rob has 4, Marcus has 2. On to the next round.
It's the summer movie wager all over again, Marcus.
So
Getting flashbacks.
here we've got 3 each. I'll let the other one have half a point if you don't get it right in your first answer. Or should we just let steal? I don't really care. We'll figure it out as we go. But you'll take turns on this. Console code names.
Ooh.
So the code name before the console was released for the project.
Nice.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Here we go.
Here's the code name. What was the console? Now the first one, Marcus can go first because Rob went first on the last one. Project Reality. What console was the result of Project Reality?
Jesus.
Nothing like a bit of radio silence to fill a
Shit,
podcast.
that's really thrown me.
I remember it. Might be wrong though. We're really dipping back into this.
Was it the PlayStation 2?
It was not the PlayStation 2. Rob, you got any thoughts?
Was it the Atari Jaguar?
No.
Oh.
It was the Nintendo 64.
Oh, I thought it was the Virtual Boy, but I thought, was it actually released?
We're both wrong there.
Yeah.
A Virtual Boy, I can see why you'd give it the shout.
But I
Yeah.
was thinking,
Touche. No, wrong.
we went too far in different directions.
Too far! Okay, so Rob, what was Project Katana? Which a lot of people in the news would probably call Project Samurai Sword. Sorry, call back to a different podcast many years ago.
Project Katana, I don't have that in my head at all. I guess it's a Japanese console, maybe. So Super Nintendo?
I'm afraid not. Any idea, Marcus?
I don't know, Xbox One?
The Dreamcast.
No, Xbox. Oh, really?
Yep. There we go.
Bloody hell.
Okay.
Was that a dolphin?
No. Dolphin I saw on one of them, but isn't on this list. But no, it wasn't.
Oh.
Or not according to the article I've taken this from anyway, might be the better categoric way to put it. And some of these things had more than one code name as well, but this is a code name for that console. What I'm not aware of, I think there were 2 that had Dolphin or something as code names, and I left them both out. So, Marcus, Project Atlantis.
Oh, Jesus.
This is a high-scoring round. Rob's looking stumped.
hard.
Atlantis.
Hard.
I could name their console after a Stargate series. Or Predate.
Yes, because that's where the name came
Or
from.
Predate, or a civilization that sugs the ground. I reckon that's going to be the Atari Jaguar. Just for shits and giggles.
I'll give you guys a clue for the rest of the game. None of them are the Atari Jaguar.
Don't!
Damn it.
Any thoughts, Rob?
Atlantis.
Shall I put you out of your misery?
Yeah, no, I haven't got anything.
It was the Game Boy Advance.
Oh,
wow.
the Game Boy Advance. Yeah, I never would have got that.
Okay. On the next one, which one for Rob?
All right.
And it is Mars. M-A-R-Z.
Project Mars.
Project Mars.
No, I don't know this at all. I just have to. Is it Xbox One?
When you say the Xbox One, you mean the last Xbox?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah, I thought I'd heard it. The original Xbox.
It was the original Xbox.
Ah.
Sorry. Interesting that it's Mars stood for Microsoft Active Reality Zone, which is a bit flaky. But then one of the other,
I thought Reality might have been that as well.
one of the other code names, because it was basically a black box that ran DirectX, was the DirectX box.
Yeah, I know the
Mugs.
Why they can't move away from that Xbox thing is because that's literally what it is.
Yeah,
but
got
if
three
they-
more letters
Yeah,
after
if they
that,
just
that's why.
use some numbers.
Yeah.
But
But no one wants to play like the Microsoft console 98.
what's the new Xbox called? I can't remember now.
Xbox X Series.
Xbox Series X.
Yeah, Series X.
Yeah, the Xbox memorable name. Yeah, baffling. But there we go.
It's going to be amazing, but they're going to call it like, it's going to get nicknames like the Series Excrement and stuff like that, and all sorts. Eventually it will happen.
I think they're just trying to make the term Xbox ubiquitous across generations. People
Yeah, well,
just play on-
PlayStation managed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with numbers.
Yes. And also, you know which one's which.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Just,
you know
just a
that
little thought there.
it's like if you
Yeah.
see PSX, you go, oh, it's before numbers. It must be a prototype or a first one. And you'd be right. Just like-
All good fun. Right, two more before the pain finishes of this round, because clearly this one's...
no, it's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Okay, so Marcus, first attempt on this one. Project Nitro.
Nitro. Okay, super fast.
I'd have it.
I'm going to go with the PlayStation 2.
Sega Saturn?
Good shout.
It was, of course, the Nintendo DS.
Forget about mobile
That's
game.
got
They are
nothing to do
consoles.
with what the
They
DS
are
is,
consoles.
though.
It's
Yeah.
definitely a console.
Yeah.
I think DS was a much better name for the DS.
Okay, and finally, the Mark V, Mark V, presumably.
Mark 5.
Yeah.
I got this one.
Oh.
Actually, I just got a stupid answer.
Oh, okay. I was good. And I don't think it's PlayStation 5.
It might be. Let me just write the wiki page.
And it's definitely not Atari Jaguar, I know that.
Nope, confirmed.
Or any of the others that have come up. Mark 5. Oh. 3DO.
No, afraid not.
Is it Nintendo Switch?
It is not. It is Sega Mark V Mega Drive.
Oh, fucking. That's
Or
disgraceful.
Genesis for our American listeners.
I didn't get any of the Sega ones.
Well, that's
I was going to say it was one of Tony Stark's suits, but that was because I had nothing else to go on.
so at the end of round 2, the scores are Rob is still on 4 and Marcus is still on 2.
Oh, well.
Now, the final round is a game that I have stolen from the rather enjoyable IGN UK podcast. It's called PG Tips.
Okay.
And
Right.
what I've done, I've looked up 3 games in this case. They normally do about 5, but time and can be bothered were issues here. What I've done, I've looked in the parental advice section on the IMDb page where people write in advice on levels of swearing, violence, sexual content, etc., so people can understand what they might be letting themselves
right,
into.
yeah, okay.
And so these are verbatim written. So there are 5 tips, 5 descriptions of the parent tips on each one. If you get it off the first clue, you get 5 points. Second clue, 4 points, etc., etc.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So you'll both play together. No, not too much shouting over each other. A couple of guesses per tip, and then
Yeah.
we'll go on to the next one. Sound good?
Yep, sounds good.
Right. So for the first game, these are all games. There are 2 books in the game that contain numerous innuendo, but don't directly mention anything sexual. And if you get it off the first one, you deserve 5 points.
2 books.
I just want to say, like, Elder Scrolls, because that's a game with lots of books in it.
Not bad, but that's a series.
Oh, so it's not a series. It's a
It's a game.
It's a game. A specific game. Skyrim?
5 points to Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was baffled. Oh, that's all right. Hang
All right,
on,
then.
5 points? Good lord.
Not bad. So the rest of them, because frankly, otherwise it comes a bit short. So for 4 points, you can engage in violent conflicts whenever you want, which is cool for gamers but horrible for parents. Number 3 on the language. Damn is used moderately throughout the entire game. Ass is used once, whore is used twice, and bitch is used twice. Bastard is used 2 at the beginning of the game and other times. I've put that one in because it amused me. And for 2 points, after upgrading skills to certain levels, it is possible to decapitate and brutalize enemies in various ways. This may be disturbing to some viewers. And finally, you can kill animals, deer, wolves, rabbits, chickens, etc. You can also kill other fantasy creatures, skeletons, giant spiders, etc. When an enemy is killed, there is a short splash of blood. When killing some creatures, the blood will be a different colour. There is occasionally blood on walls in dungeons.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Indeed.
That's a very fine explanation of what Skyrim's all about.
Nails it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Okay, so second game. For 5 points, very brief splashes of blood can be seen when people are struck in combat. However, they are very easy to miss due to the flashy action.
Street Fighter 2.
Reasonable shout, but any thoughts, Rob?
Mortal Kombat?
Nah.
I think that'll be Gallons. It's
Right.
like Tarantino.
On the swearing. Fairly frequent use of hell, damn, crap and piss. There are also occasional use of more moderate terms such as bitch, ass, bastard, slut, dick and cock. Instances of stronger coarse language like shit, prick, arsehole and goddamn are infrequent. One character exclaims something is bullshit. Fuck is used once.
It's definitely not GTA then, is it?
What's he called? It's not Doom.
Nope. Don't think Doom's got any words in it.
No.
Actually, there's audio logs.
Who's the one that they took ages to make? They took ages to make the game, and when it came
Duke
out,
Nukem?
that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
No.
That'll be his show.
Right. For 3 points. Intense moments like characters being taken as hostages, armed robberies, shootings without visible blood or injuries, themes of crime and various life and death situations.
Call of Duty.
No? There's blood everywhere. There's claret everywhere in that.
Yeah, I suppose. So it's just brief.
Saints Row 4.
No? No? Okay. For 2 points. One of the more intense scenes in the games shows a terrorist attack. Not Call of Duty. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
A man detonates a bomb vest and others use theirs to cause explosions. The player later explores the ruined area where the enemies search for and kill any survivors. For example, we see a young child getting executed with a blade and a man being shot through the head. You then come across a dead man with a large amount of blood around him. He briefly turns over to see a severed face.
Lord.
I don't remember that bit, to be honest. But
Whoa, this sounds...
Is this Soldier of Fortune or something?
no, it sounds like a super violent game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be Mario Brothers or something, isn't it?
It's going to be something like that.
It's going to be like Sonic Adventure. It's like...
Right, for 1 point.
Jesus.
The protagonist never kills. He uses a variety of melee attacks and gadgets in order to take down enemies, and the violence during gameplay is not very strong.
Half-Life 2?
No.
Doesn't kill. Assassin's Creed. No.
Non-Assassin's Creed.
No, sorry, I think of that as stealth. Sorry.
Doesn't kill.
Doesn't kill. Metal Gear Solid.
No. I'll give you it to it.
Yeah, go for it. I've got no clue.
Marvel's Spider-Man.
Oh
Good
my god!
Lord.
Wow.
That's mental. I really
If you
would
think
not
about it, no kills, basically, Batman
Yeah.
and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Oh wow. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Even the
I
people flying off the building, you see them webbed on the side somehow.
Yeah, I've never worked that bit out. But yeah,
No.
it's all non-lethal
Safety
stuff.
feature.
I nearly went Watch Dogs 2, but that's only because
You
the
can
way-
go through zero
The way I
violence,
played it was I didn't really kill anyone. I might have accidentally
guns, yeah.
run over some people, but
Yeah.
generally I didn't use any of the weaponry in
Man, I
that game.
didn't see that coming.
Okay. Final game, and Marcus can't win, but who cares?
No, but it's
Final
just
round.
fun.
Okay, so part of the game takes place in a pub, although no alcoholic drinks are visible.
Takes place in a pub. GTA?
No.
Yeah,
Anything, Marcus?
they'd show drinks, wouldn't
Final Fantasy 7.
Okay. The player can find and pick up a bra. This is required for an objective.
Final Fantasy 7. Just like,
they? Is it like Monkey Island or something like that?
No. A tobacco pipe can be found and picked up.
I've got no clue. I don't know.
No.
There is no dialogue and there is no profanity text-wise.
There's no dialogue.
Rhyme?
No. And the only instance of violence in the game is extremely mild and falls under slapstick.
Not like South Park. Not like South Park game, is it, or something?
No profanity.
Oh, yeah, true, yeah.
Oh, no, I'll put you out of your misery.
I've got no
I
idea.
suck at this.
Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, my God. I would never have got that.
No,
I played it, so-
I know, but it amused me, so I put it in.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Oh, well.
Well, that was fun.
I am victorious!
Yes, but not a score to
Good
be
game.
proud of.
No, that was good. I like the way that worked, though, because...
I like to say, I stole the format. I'm not claiming.
Yeah, but it was fun.
yeah, but you... you combined 3 different things, so
Yeah.
it was like
Homage.
pretty cool. Cool.
Homage collage.
So has anyone been playing anything new?
Not new. My Xbox died.
Oh, no.
I don't know what's wrong with it.
So, did you try a replacement power supply?
It got jealous because I think I didn't use the word the letter X enough in my sentences.
You hadn't been giving
it
it
no
enough
longer
love.
Yeah. Basically, I went to turn it on and wished it had an actual button and not a touch sensitive one. It didn't even make the chirpy noise. I've been looking on Reddit and everything. It could either be the power brick, which has gone into surge protect mode, which is the thing that can happen to protect the console,
Yeah.
or if I need to order a new one of them in, but nothing's going to deliver this side of Christmas. So I'm going to get one off eBay. If that doesn't work, it's a console.
Fine.
But I have a backup plan,
Right.
which is 90 quid for another Xbox console in Computer Exchange.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap now.
Yeah, so I'm going to get an original one, maybe an upgrade. I need to pry it open to get my disc out, though, because Devil May Cry 5's still in there. I was like, I want to play this game and finish it before... Oh, you fucker.
The only thing that I've played, it's not really new, but I made a start on Breath of the Wild, which I really enjoy. I'm really enjoying.
Yep.
To me, it's the
of
first,
course, you got your Switch, haven't you?
Yeah, to me, it's the first Switch game I've played that feels like I'm at home playing a full console game,
It's the
because that's what it is.
It's the Nintendo game, isn't the Nintendo console game. Yeah.
Yeah. What's impressed me so far is that it uses, even though it's like a massive open world, it sort of funnels you around quite well, like without feeling like you're being funneled. You're like for example, one of the places you have to get to early on is in a cold zone, and like when you're going through this cold zone, it's like telling you, you're going to die soon.
Oh, you've got to cook food with chili or something.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell you that. You just sort of experiment with it, and you throw some things in a cook
You
pot,
start
and it does
getting
it.
peppers before you get there, and you think, what are these going to be used for?
Yeah,
And you
and I guess the sort of it's kind of annoying the way like the inventory works and the way the weapons degrade. So you end up picking loads of shit up. You're clobbering people around with like limbs and all this. But I did appreciate that like I was able to just use elements of the environment to massively like offset like what I had equipped. So I could put an arrow in the fire, then literally launch it. And I like the way you aim in it as well, using the actual device. That's quite cool.
I turned that off straight away.
Oh, right, fair enough. It is a little bit disconcerting when you can do both. I
Well,
suppose.
if you're on a train or something, you just feel like an absolute gimp.
Yeah.
It's not quite as bad as on the Vita where you had to literally hold it up to the light and stuff, but I know what you mean. But yeah, and then I literally just launched one flaming arrow at a bunch of like gobos or whatever they're called. And it just massive explosion and they're all dead. But
Have you experienced your first thunderstorm?
no, not yet.
That is quite special.
But I did love the way, very early on, I liked the way that swishing my sword about in the grass made the grass move accordingly. Which is like I love stuff like that. Like in Witcher 3, like when you're running through the fields and it's all parting and stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of Witcher, has anyone watched the show yet?
A bit.
Seen it all, yeah.
Yeah, I watched it all. I was very impressed. I think it did absolute justice to that.
I think the thing people have an issue with is they're looking at it from a Witcher 3 point of view, which it isn't. It's Witcher, not Wild Hunt, not
prequel.
anything.
Yeah.
It's
that.
I mean, Gerald
It's
doesn't
from
have
the
a
Witcher
beard.
books,
They should
yeah.
pick up on it. And it's like the characters and stuff. The author's gone on record saying he was quite happy with the depiction.
Oh, I
And
think he's quite happy
Henry
with the
Cavill,
commission.
And he's happy with everything. Yeah,
What,
but he's
with the show?
yeah. He's actually said he's happy. He's really happy with Henry Cavill's performance.
I'm really happy with Henry Cavill's performance
I thought it was
personally.
great. Going around gravelly voiced.
I've never seen the way the guy moves. Like he's really got it down.
Also, it gets my vote for funniest dick punch in the film. Anyway, you've got all this
slight
to look
digression.
forward to.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Were you not too impressed with it then, Will?
It's all right.
It's just a TV show.
Yeah, I'm not massively into my TV shows.
Okay.
I've given it a punt mostly because I've played The Witcher 3. It was interesting.
Yeah,
the characters are familiar. It's well acted. I'm just not finding it that interesting.
Okay.
Yes, enough.
Yeah, I mean it gets going a bit later, but I mean it is. Yeah, you've seen it before, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen 3 episodes. I will watch the rest, but I'm not in a rush to do so.
It does feel a bit like medieval MacGyver in those first 3 ones. He turns up in a place, there's a problem, and he goes, "Oh fuck," and solves it.
I just like the way that all the main like serialized plot of it is not about Geralt. Like he's
the world.
He's your case of the week man. You know, he's got a thing to do each week. But there's the actual plot is more to do with Yennefer and Ciri and stuff. So
anyway,
sorry, bit of digression.
Fun games.
But yeah, I've mostly been watching The Witcher and not playing many games over Christmas.
So I've picked up another game that came out earlier in the year. Yep. Well, I didn't review magnificently, mostly because it was nothing particularly new, and I'll agree with the statement that there's nothing new there. So I've been playing Days Gone.
Yeah. I saw you. Yeah, I saw you started that.
I'm about probably 5 or 6 hours in. Nothing serious. Maybe not even that far. But so far, I'm quite enjoying traipsing around the world on my knackered motorbike, which I'll have to be upgrading. The motorbike's surprisingly not annoying as a gimmick.
Okay.
It's genuinely satisfying. Fuel is incredibly sparse. You end up wheeling your bike down hills to silently arrive at camps in a scavenge for petrol and scrap to repair it, and it's quite satisfying. The combat's not bad.
Sorry about the bike. Does it go off road well, or does the
you want to stick to the paths? And it's not an amazing magic bike. If you take it too far off a jump, it gets knackered, and you have to fix it. And
I just wondered how it compared to like a horse. You know,
no. The horse experience I could compare it to best would be the horse in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, for example, which can climb cliffs. At sheer levels. No, the bike sticks to roads, and if you come off the road, you come off the bike, and if you come off the bike, you'll land in the middle of a bunch of freakers and you will die. You ride your bike very carefully.
So it had. It's just it's a differentiator then, you know, like because
it's not the Batmobile.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
It won't tear forever.
It gets you around. You can store ammo in it. It's useful. You can keep some weapons on it once you've upgraded it, I think. But yeah, you've got to keep it serviced. You've got to keep an eye out for petrol.
I like that because it's almost like a mechanic in itself.
Yeah.
A game mechanic.
That's it. So there's nothing particularly new or original, but the combat's satisfying. The enemies can be genuinely terrifying when you've been trying to clear a base. So you get these bases, and if you don't manage to disable all the speakers before you turn the power on so you can unlock the doors to get the goodies, you realise that you have to rapidly get inside and shut the doors, and then the speakers are playing and it attracts a horde of freakers, which are infected humans. You'd call them zombies, but they're not the shuffling slow things. They're the terrifying hordes of screaming bloodthirsty demons, basically.
Like, was it 28 days later?
That style of thing, yeah.
Rage zombies, sort of.
Yeah, there's zombies, there's cannibals, there's nasty marauder drifters, there's like rage infested bears and wolves, and I've had my arse hand. I'm playing it on hard because I always do on this sort of game because I quite enjoy the grind to level up to become a badass. I don't want to be a badass to start with, but I'm constantly getting to the point where I have to go, right, I've just managed to salvage the stuff in that base. There's a horde of bad things coming my way. I need to hop on my trusty motorcycle. But I did it one earlier. Cleared out a base, got on my bike to drive away, and just going down the road, and some bastards had stretched a cable across the road, which instantly took me off the bike.
Oh my God.
Left me smashed down, minimal health, and I've got these bloodthirsty cannibals running at me with lawnmower machetes.
Wow.
And you are genuinely having these oh shit moments. There's some fantastic gameplay in there. I'm genuinely, the reviews are all just, it's a big grind, there's nothing new. And I get that some things don't have original ideas, but I think there's an interesting game there. I'm just scratching the surface.
I think it was the victim of a little bit of fatigue with the genre at the time it came out. You know,
that's what I'm thinking.
But that bit you said about them tripping you over, is that like an ambient event, or was that a mission that you got?
No, it was. I was literally just driving along, and one bit of road which looks clear and you can barely see it, and you're just focusing on just getting away from the people chasing you behind, and then suddenly you see it, but it's too late, and they've stretched a bloody wire across the road. And there was another time, and I think it was, it's built into the game, but I'd found this trail, I'd found this corpse, and the classic, press left 3 to go into sensory mode and you can detect clues and you follow the footprints, and I'm following these footprints, and I went into this bush and all of a sudden a snare went off and I'm hoisted from the tree hanging by my foot, and someone hits me with the back of an axe and I wake up in a camp and have to fight my way.
And that's in Days Gone?
Yeah. Wow. I'm genuinely surprised. Yeah. Deacon St. John, still a shit name for a lead character,
that is pretty
is a fairly generic biker with a fairly generic code. I only kill women when I don't have a choice. This code of yours is going to get you killed, Deke. Well, Boozer. Fucking hell. His best mate's called Boozer.
I know, but it's got to be massively Sons of Anarchy.
There's a serious side. The other line I heard, I just can't wait to get back on the open road. And you just think, there's some real bullshit in there.
Almost have the credits rolling from the original show.
But the satisfaction, I mean, I've seen some of the zombie hordes and I've not got near them. Sorry, freaker hordes, my apologies. And I'm talking like hundreds of them. Jesus, and with my little pea shooter pistol and the sparse ammo I don't know how I'm going to be taking those out later in the game, but
it sounds like season 1 Walking Dead. Where any minute now it could just go horribly wrong and a horde will turn up and you're not ready.
I'm saying £25 at the moment in the PlayStation sale.
I was about to ask you about that, yeah.
Worth it.
That's pretty good.
There's a lot of game there.
I might pick it up.
I'm finding it you've got to be focusing on your headshots at the start, because just ammo it's not that it's particularly sparse, but you can't carry much. It's almost realistic. You can't carry 300 rounds of this and 90 rounds of that. Same with the scrap you carry around to repair your vehicle. You can only carry 10 pieces, and if your bike's totally wrecked, it will take 7 pieces to do it, and you can use scrap to repair weapons, so you're constantly after it, but you're not just building up this massive supply. You always need to scavenge.
That's I think State of Decay was a bit like that. Like you couldn't carry around loads of stuff. Like you pick up a telly, and then that would be it.
Yeah.
And different loot would have different amount of encumbrance.
Yeah.
And then you had to take it back to the car.
Yeah. So there's no real encumbrance here. You just can't carry much. And I'm sure that there's, as with any game, there's an upgrade path, and there's one based on melee combat, and one based on ranged, and one based on survival, and there's essentially the skill trees. But I can't see anything that says, oh, you're going to be able to carry a shitload. I think you can get better panniers for the bike, but it still means you can only carry so many rounds. If you've got an AK-47, you're fine for the first 2 clips. But then you'd better be finding another weapon.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
Yeah, I've some people like when they play Skyrim, like mod it so that they have infinite inventory.
That's so dull.
But I really find inventory management there's a limit to
when it's done well.
No,
yeah, I think it's just another interesting choice that you have to make, which is what games are all about.
Yeah. I liked, Fallout New Vegas particularly, and I think Fallout 4 had it, where you played on the more hardcore modes, and your ammo had weight. So unless you couldn't just carry everything and turn everything into just complete, bullet riddled.
Yeah. It's a limited number of spaces. It makes you think about it.
Yeah.
Because when you're out in the field, you're thinking, well, if you've got the option for healing items, that's taking up spaces.
That's it.
There might be individual ones, or you might get a stack. But then you get a limited stack as well. And then it's like, okay, I've got this, I've got that, I've got repair kit, I've got this, that, maybe something to find, something else.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you've taken up 6 slots.
Yeah. So that kind of moves us on. So what I was thinking, so we were going to talk about our games of the year. From my experience personally, I'm just going to talk about my post-apocalyptic game of the year. Because this year, I have played Borderlands 3, Rage 2, Days Gone, Far Cry New Dawn, and Metro Exodus.
So it's got to be Metro Exodus, right?
I'm going to go for... Dawn. Interestingly, I'm going to go for the one I had the most fun with. Had the best shooting mechanics and the most bonkers combat. So my post-apocalyptic game of the year is going to be Rage 2, bizarrely enough.
You did sound like you enjoyed yourself when you were talking about it.
Combat, it's just having to drive around between the ridiculous fights, but the combat is so satisfying. It's gorgeous. So, yeah. That's
cool.
Because apart from that, I mean, I've played a few indie bits, but those, I think the big budget games I've played, so to speak, are all post-apocalyptic.
Fair enough. I mean, from my point of view, this year's been a bit of a fucking, just like a car crash of a year, really. From my point of view, to be fair, I spent like probably the first 3 or 4 months of it finishing off Red Dead Redemption. God damn it.
Yeah.
While all this post-apocalyptic stuff was going on.
And then you got onto Assassin's Creed Origins, which I think took a fair chunk of your time. Watch Dogs 2?
Yeah, I played that as well. I basically cleared up my Ubisoft back catalogue. I've only got Odyssey to play now. And so going to hopefully... I've got it.
Yep.
I've literally got it to turn on in the new year.
I've heard it's really good.
Once I finished up some things. But I mean, for me, it really came down to a toss-up between 2 games that impressed me the most.
The 2 Jedi games.
No, it wasn't actually. The first one was Plague Tale that I mentioned earlier.
Plague Tale. Okay. Story-wise, I understand it's exceptional.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It took me to an unfamiliar location, and I like the stealth gameplay. I like stealth games. But I just don't think there was quite enough game there for me for that to win. And I'm not just saying it because you just saw me playing it, but my game of the year is Control. I've really, after all of this, this year has been like the end of a lot of things, like Avengers, Thrones, Star Wars. And I have recently been taking great comfort in weird fiction. Like we're talking H.P. Lovecraft, stuff that's really out there, that's unknown, like history with like legacy to it, ancient evil and stuff like that. And while Control on the surface of it doesn't look like that at all, it looks a bit more breezy and X-Files, the deeper you get into it, the more you start to make those connections.
Sort of the mysterious occult stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So at the moment, it's all kind of, I sort of breezed over this when we recorded last time, but basically there's, you have a handgun, a gun analog that you can change into different forms, and you have telekinesis. You can bring up a wall of stuff. What's great about it, though, is that the graphics engine it's apparently really spectacular on PC because it uses all like the new ray tracing on the new graphics cards. They'll probably do a re-release of it on the new consoles, I would imagine. Like even if there's nothing to pick up, you'll just pull off bits of the wall and start throwing that. So the game looks really breezy, but when you start to look at all the little details of things that what it's doing, you're like, wow, that's impressive. Like when you, I think I mentioned this before, but when you get control point, which is like a save point that you can sort of teleport between, because this game takes place in this thing called the Oldest House, which is like the headquarters of this bureau. And apparently the building was always there, just nobody ever paid attention to it.
It sounds Lovecraftian when you call someone like the Oldest House.
Yeah, and when you get these control points, you start rearranging the building slightly. Okay. And it's like you're going round in these places, and you go round and round, and then you'll have to pull 3 times on this light switch, and you'll end up in a hotel. And then you have to kind of go into the rooms. One thing I just did as an example, I go into this hotel. That I've just teleported to, I think.
Of course.
And then I go, and then I ring the doorbell. I ring the doorbell, and one of the doors on the other end of the hallway opens. I go in there, everything is upside down. I then go back, ring the doorbell again, and then I go into another room. There's a painting in the room that's upside down. I click on the painting, it turns the painting the right way up, go back into the room is now the right way up. There's some keys on the table. I pick those keys up and then go into another room. So what I'm trying to say...
It's almost a bit like...
Are you on drugs?
No, it's a bit it's a bit like that weird puzzle like PT where you're not quite sure what's going on. But you see... No, in the weird way in that it's... You go back in, it's like everything's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I do? And something sticks out. Like you said, turn the painting round. You kind of go, okay. And then you go back in and it's like, fuck.
Yeah,
I get the feeling the more you're doing things in this house, it feels like you're unlocking more.
Well, yeah, and I'm starting,
and the world
and
is
also
twisted.
There's like a sort of plot is that you're looking for your brother, and she's talking to someone in her head, and it's like, whoa! I'm sort of thinking like I'm just a vessel being controlled. It's called Control, I feel like the penny is starting to drop. And yeah, so basically they've sort of made like a David Lynch film of a game. And I'm really enjoying it challenging my expectations. And also, I'm very pleased for me, it represents the return of Remedy, who made Max Payne and Alan Wake, both games that, you know, I know, Will, you don't have much familiarity. But they're both fabulous games that wear their pop culture influences on their sleeve.
Nice.
And so for me, yeah, Control is my game of the year because it's just like nothing else, really. So
speaking of nothing else, I guess my game of the year would have to be
the only one you've played from this
the
year.
Iceborne expansion for Monster Hunter World.
Better than Pokemon.
Devil May Cry?
I would say, well, I never finished Devil May Cry, but I would say that's
I haven't
pretty
finished
close.
Control.
But honestly, if we're going on pure, if games exist to give you a feeling of like euphoria, terror, item management, wondering what the fuck is going on.
Euphoria, terror, and inventory management are the three pillars of gameplay, surely.
This is one of those, but this is one of those games that looks like a straightforward MMO from an outside viewpoint. I went in thinking, this is an MMO, I'm going to go in, I'm going to play this, I'm going to kill some things. Sorry, it's a violent version of Pokemon. We've kind of discussed it before.
Yeah.
You know, they add more things in, you have to go kill them, wear the shiny armor from it. It's when you get into the game and you realise, I mean, this is supposed to be an expansion pack. The original game is about a year old. I think it came in 2018, early 2018. The amount of stuff they've given away for free.
That's always a nice sign.
There are lots of things you can buy, token things like gestures and all that sort of thing. Typical MMO stuff.
Yep.
But creating whole new monsters and creating like extra parts of the main story, inverted commas, the story level is there to just boost your character and get you used to the game.
Yeah.
But all of the fights against these creatures are reminiscent of fighting like a Dark Souls boss. There is no health bar. You have to learn how the creature attacks, how to dodge, how to counter.
Everyone's
have to,
different.
you have to watch. When you pick a different weapon, your entire game plan changes because your attack speed changes, your attack patterns. There are about 6 or 7 different weapon classes, and you're free to chop and change as you choose. It's insane the amount of depth in this thing. It's considering I went into it thinking this is going to be fun. I'm going to play with my brothers, call them up online. Me and Suze will take turns. The original game, we put in nearly 200 hours. I think I said on a previous one. I'm at 260 something hours
on an
in this
expansion
game.
pack.
No, but the thing is, the expansion.
That sounds really disparaging, but you know what I mean.
But hear me out. Yeah. I agree. It sounds like an expansion, but the expansion integrates with the game and just literally it builds on it. I'm looking now thinking there are extra moves and stuff in there. Like there's a claw you can use to grapple on and pull yourself onto airborne enemies.
From what you're saying, it's as much a sequel as an expansion.
It is literally as big to be a sequel.
Yeah.
But you go back to the old areas and everything's like changed up and stuff.
Yeah.
Huge snow missions, huge new creatures. They're still adding more. It's the first game in a while I actually watched their developer sessions to see what is going on.
Yeah.
Because they bring out new things. I mean, there was a competition to design new weapons and they released them for free and you get them and they just add them. You go to your room and it's like, oh, it's a cool download bit. It's insane. It has to be my game of the year because it's made me buy a second PlayStation.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
We have.
You've got one each
I have
now.
a PS Slim, and we have been gaming over Christmas. And all yesterday, I mean, this is why my right eye is red slightly because we've been up till 2 a.m, like just
Hunting monsters
murdering
together.
creatures. But the thing is, some of them are just. I mean, there are some that are like your favourites to fight. They are literally like. It's almost like a Soulsborne boss, where it's like, oh, I love this fight. It's an absolute bastard, but God, what a fight. There's one creature in there called a Glavenus, and it basically has like a really sharp tail. It looks like a bastard hybrid between like the 90s Godzilla, but with an insanely long tail that's probably twice the length of its body.
Yeah.
But it uses it as like a sword, so it fights you as if it was a player. Which sounds weird, but it's like normally creatures, it's the thing about it, it's the movement. The amount of work they've put into each of these things, they feel like animals.
This all ties into your Godzilla stuff as well, doesn't it?
Kind of. I wouldn't want to fight Godzilla on this. Fuck me, you just get
No,
owned.
but you're.
I wouldn't want to
but
fight Godzilla.
You love the big monster movies,
the kind
don't you?
of, it feels like that. It's like but it feels more like whenever I've seen Dark Souls and stuff going up against the bosses or Bloodborne, and it's that whole thing because there will be the cutscene and then your character's left in front of it, and this thing is huge and it roars you down, and then the game kicks in, the HUD comes on, and you're like, you can launch an SOS flare to call people. I'm like fuck, I've got to run. This bastard's right in my face.
Wow.
And I'm like, dodge the first attack, and you don't know what's coming. And then it has the mechanic where you get a creature down, and you have to you just keep hitting it, and you're like, how much fucking health has this thing got? And it will start limping, and that's the telltale that you're getting close to killing it.
Yeah.
Then they get more dangerous because their attack patterns shift. It's almost like the second phase in an enemy where their attack patterns go more erratic and they start doing more moves, and you're like, Jesus Christ. And some of these things have got you can't dodge this whip. There is a timing for a dodge to be able to get through it, like a slight invincibility window. Being a Capcom game, obviously. But yeah, my God, it feels so satisfying when you're running after these fuckers. It's just like you finally get them on the run and they go off and they're limping and you're like, come on. And it's, and also taking a step back, I just can't, for a company like Capcom, they were a personal favourite of mine because I grew up in the 90s playing a lot of their arcade games and everything, and all the old Resident Evil games and all that. And I feel they lost their way in the last maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years, maybe, or something. I know Resident Evil 2 is a remake.
3's on its way next year.
3's on its way. But these are completely different games.
Oh, yeah.
If you play the original compared to them, they're like night and day. The game's actually changed. There's different, the story's been jinked around a bit and stuff like that. I just think Capcom seems to be on a roll. They've gone back to what they do and realising people actually fucking love our shit. Let's stop bringing out these half-assed offerings and put some money behind it and some thought. And they seem to be delivering.
So
and it's
my
amazing.
only request would be if maybe one of their top cheeses could give Bethesda a call.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'd love to see a Bethesda Capcom hybrid.
No, it's not that. I'd just like Bethesda to go back to doing the thing they did well.
Oh yeah, no. Well, that's the thing. This Monster Hunter World feels like there's an old Capcom game called Lost Planet, which was like I think it's Capcom, which was like a co-op where you go around and funny enough, you're going after big bugs. It's like Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Great big planet full of creatures that you kill. It seems they've taken that and taken Monster Hunter and kind of mashed that together.
The Monster Mash.
Yeah.
Because I think Lost Planet, though, was around the time that they started losing their way.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Japanese companies felt the kind of demand to satisfy the West.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
so-
Monster Hunter, I think Monster Hunter World is possibly the biggest game Capcom have done ever. It is the scale
it's
of
like
it.
it's an MMO, isn't it? Pretty much.
But it's mental. It's just, I can't, the amount of work that's gone into it. If I was tempted to bring my console around and just load it up, just so you guys could see half of the batshit this.
It wouldn't have made a very good
I think
recording.
that's the thing, my ramblings I don't feel would do it justice. Because from an outside view, it looks like it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But when you get in, and you were talking about item management earlier, and I was grinning.
I'll be honest, I just don't think I have 460 hours to...
No, I don't. That's the thing. The only thing I would say about it is I don't know if I can recommend it if you're not into time sinks. Because it will
I have
eat
a
your
family.
soul.
and a dog that needs walking.
Yeah.
It's that whole, do you want to marry a game or just go on a date?
It's
like Warcraft.
you know that
sounds
theory
like
of get good. I think the reason why it's got me is because it calls back to that part of me that wanted to get better.
Yeah.
You know, like playing beat 'em ups, playing this, playing that, playing Metal Gear Solid 9. It's all of those games where it's like, I can do this better. I can be better at this. And my gaming skill has gone up so much from playing this. I played Devil May Cry a little while back.
Yep.
And I was crap. I played the demo and I got absolutely owned by the first boss.
Practice.
After this, I went back, I kicked its ass and was playing through the game. Absolutely fucking loved it. It's put me back on point.
Cool.
And for that, I'm grateful. I'm a gamer again, and I've got my 6-month chip now.
Awesome sauce.
Job done.
And 2 PlayStations.
Yeah, good
No
God.
Xbox.
No.
Cool. Well, I think that concludes our Game of the Year chat. I think it's pretty clear. Iceborne, Rage 2, and Control.
Gosh, what a pathetic collection compared to last year.
I know.
In the nicest possible way.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't release a new Spider-Man game, because that would have been gone straight in.
Right. Next year, I think, is looking interesting, but we'll cover that another time, I'm guessing.
Thanks for listening to the Not Playing Podcast, part of the Not Listening Podcast Network, where you can also find the Not Watching Podcast, where we talk about movies and TV, and the Not Listening Podcast, where you can hear Adam and Co. talk about all kinds of nonsensical nonsense. You can email us at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes for all our shows at notlistening.co.uk, and if you like what you've heard here, please do leave us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Until next time, bye!
With no booty, my friend, I'm inclined to agree, 'cause I suck. You suck. I suck at